guys, how you doing? Lee here. Going to do a little bit of a homesteading video today. I hope you can see me. It's kind of gloomy out, kind of dark in here, so I hope you can see and hear all right. As you can see, I'm in the chicken coop, and I'm going to talk about my watering system, or I should say our system of heating our water for our chickens. And some of the stuff I'm going to show you is not, anything new. It's been shown before. Other people have done it. But I want to show a couple of additions we've done to what we had last year and a couple changes that we've done this year, hoping to keep the water warmer and combat some issues that we had with our last system. I'm going to bring the camera in a little bit closer and I'll show you what we got and what we did have before, why we changed it, and what we modified. Just a second, I'll bring you in closer. Okay guys, basically here's our water source for the chickens on a cinder block with a light. As I said, this isn't anything new. Several people have done this, so like I said, I'm not really showing you anything new. I'm just going to show you some modifications and why we made those modifications to the basic setup here. At first we were using something similar, a heat lamp. We were pulling the metal cone off, pulling the spring holder off, and just using the fixture and of course a different light bulb, and laying it on the cement block down here and putting this brick over it. And we found that with a lot of the cheaper fixtures, they would get hot, they would short out, they just wouldn't last long, poor quality. We even tried a couple of the ones with more of a porcelain. Still, it didn't last long. Your light bulb was laying on the ground. It, when you changed water out, you would take a chance of getting it wet. It would short out. We just had a lot of issues with it. So that's what led us to the two different changes that we made this year. First off, I'll show you my setup we have now. Basically have a cinder block with the notch taken out of it, right there. We did have it here. There was already a notch partially there, and I just notched it out. But since I wanted my wiring running up the sidewall, I just took a hammer and a screwdriver, chipped it away. Didn't take long, a few minutes. But as I said, we changed out our light setup also. Okay guys, here's our light setup. Just a porcelain base without a drawstring. I did not want that setup in here, wasn't needed. So I have my shut off in another location. I will show you that. I have it on an actual electrical outlet box so that the wires are not exposed. There's no chance of getting shocked. Everything's contained in here. Plus it gives you a nice solid base for the light fixture set up on. There's no chance of it tipping over. And the light bulb's not laying on the ground as before, which puts the light in closer contact with the water source, which will help keep it warmer. But being closer to the water source also causes an issue, which we had before, which I'll show you in just a moment. Okay, as you can see, we have the other end of the wire hooked to a plug that's fairly sturdy, good outside plug, instead of just having open wires or something hardwired in. I have it to a plug so we can unplug it if we need to, and if we need to move the heat or the heat lamp to another location. I've given myself plenty of wiring. But then we have it plugged into, if I can reach over here, a power source, which is just a power strip. Now needless to say, you don't need one with a power surge because we're not so much worried about a power surge, but you want to make sure one has a fairly low breaker point. I think this is 15 amps, so that if there is a short somewhere in this wiring or in the light itself, that the breaker trips on the power strip, which would then cut power to the lamp and also stop a shorting back through the wiring. Anyway, lay my brick down here. And as I said, I've positioned the wiring through the notch there. Okay, as I said, we had an issue with water getting into the light bulb. So what I did was, I took some old sheet metal that I had, and if you don't have that, you can go to the hardware store and get you a piece of step pipe. That will work just as well. And in fact, I'll show you with this piece of pipe what I did. With my water source so I don't spill it, which I spilled it anyway. But anyway, so I took the piece of metal and I laid it on the brick and I cut it 1.5 inches, 2 inches or so past the edge of the brick on 3 sides. On something like this piece of 6-inch, you could probably fold it over, and I just used a hammer and tapped it over until I got a nice crease in it. But you could probably fold that over, and that would work. And on the back side, again, cut yourself all just a little past the distance of the brick. You may have to make a couple little shortcuts in the metal to get your fold. I'll show you what I came up with. This is the piece that I have. As you can see, it's not pretty or anything, but it's got folds on 3 sides. You can see where I cut it to get the fold. I just fit it over the brick. That should keep us plenty warm through the winter. Right now I'm only running a 40-watt bulb, and we've only been down into the mid-20s at most. But I've been out a couple nights and checked on it, and the metal gets quite warm. So I think between the light bulb standing up closer to our water source and now our plate here, and with this metal plate, I think we're going to do a lot better on keeping our water warm. And as I said, I'm only running a 40-watt bulb. You know, I may have to increase that if we get to really cold weather, if it's not producing enough heat, but I think this will work. And as I said, we have now a solid plate to set our water source on. There's no chance now of getting water down into our light bulb. Guys, I hope this was helpful to you, and please leave any comments or suggestions that you may have, or any questions, but I hope it was helpful. Thanks for watching.